Bodhisattva, the procurator. Bodhisattva was appointed as the procurator of Banaras kingdom when Brahmadatta was ruling the kingdom. A procurator is a person who procures property and commodities that were essential for the state from different states and provinces. Bodhisattva would buy elephants, horses, silver and gold and so on for the kingdom and pay a fair price to the merchants. He would keep the royal stores always full with right things. He was very thoughtful and foreseeing in his purchases so that the administration never lacked any commodities when in need. King Brahmadatta was a miser. He thought that his procurator was spending too much and wasting the state money. At this rate, I would go bankrupt in no time, he thought. Next day, Brahmadatta dismissed the Bodhisattva and appointed someone else in his place. He picked up a random insignificant person without any rank and status for this post and thought he would be economical in his dealings and save state money. The new procurator did not know the difference between a horse and a donkey. He would offer very low prices for anything he would buy. The merchants who came from far-off countries were not happy with the prices they received from the new procurator and would incur huge losses. They had to make good these losses somewhere else. The new procurator would buy unwanted and useless things at a very cheap price, which began to accumulate in the royal stores. Even if some of them were stolen, no one felt their loss. The foolish procurator did not know what commodities would be required in the near future. Banaras started losing its reputation and good merchants stopped coming to the city. One day a merchant arrived at Banaras with 500 horses of very good breed. The king instructed the procurator to buy the horses. The procurator called for the merchant and looked at the horses and fixed their price as 1 measure of rice. The merchant did not respond and went to the ex-procurator and told him the story. The Bodhisattva pondered over the problem and told the merchant, "Tomorrow, when you go to the court, ask the procurator what he is going to pay you. When he says 1 measure of rice, ask him the value of 1 measure of rice. I will also be there in court tomorrow. Let's see what happens then." Next day, in the court, the merchant addressed the new procurator and said, "Sir, you bought from me 500 horses of the best breed. May I know before witness what I am going to be paid for them?" "1 measure of rice, I told you yesterday," the new procurator said. "May I know the value of 1 measure of rice?" asked the merchant. "The value of 1 measure of rice is equal to the value of the kingdom of Banaras," he said, like a good bargainer, exaggerating the value he is going to pay and depreciating what he is going to buy. The entire court was filled with laughter at the stupidity of the procurator. Some even made jokes like, "Then why don't you buy a couple of palaces for a handful of rice?" The procurator and the embarrassed king put their heads down in mortification. Bodhisattva stood up and said, "Do not mock at a man for his ignorance. When a person is entrusted with a job for which he is not qualified, he is bound to make laughing stock of himself sooner or later. It is not this poor fellow's fault that he was made the procurator." The king raised his head and said, "The fault was mine. I have learnt my lesson." The king at once removed the new man from the job and put Bodhisattva back in his place. If you like this video, please do share it with your friends and family and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.